Ihr habt tapfer und stolz für euer Vaterland gekämpft. Seid eine besondere Truppe, die ineinander.
Hey everyone, Hydrahead here, and this is William the Last by Brian Shearer. This is by Guardian Knight Studios. It's a #1, which is nice because I have bad luck with trying to get #1s and ended up not. The cover is actually a very good opening paragraph for what actually happens in this story. And this very scene is actually inside of it, which I guess you could say is kind of lazy, but at the same time, I don't really think it is. I have no past experience with Brian Shearer. I don't know if he's done other stuff. The name didn't ring a bell, and I didn't bother looking him up. But he's got quite a bit of contact information if you want to check him out. And so, just looking at the cover and the name, it you can kind of guess that it's probably directed more towards children. It has kind of that adventure feel just based off of the cover. If you actually look into this comic, it sounds a little bit more like Commandy, in that there is a boy who is alone and lost, and he's trying to find his way. That would be about where the similarities end, though. I will do my best to talk about it without ruining anything, but in short, it's good. It would be good for kids. The art is consistent and expressive. It actually kind of reminds me of the animated James and the Giant Peach. It's kind of the little kids book too, but just the the drawing style, especially for the kid, reminds me of that. Anyway, this would be a good book for children. I enjoyed it. I'm not a child, but let's see what else I can talk about. I'm gonna try not to ruin it because there are quite a few twists and turns that really move the story along. Oh, that was weird. There's a lot of twists and turns that I don't want to ruin because they're kind of vital to reading it and your feelings while you're reading it. But I'll do some explaining on what the character is about. So the little kid is living with his grandpa. Every time his fails, his grandpa tells him he has to climb. His grandpa eventually leaves him for whatever reason. You'll find out when you read it. So the boy climbs. And what he climbs is this cliff here. This massive, massive cliff. And he climbs and he climbs and he climbs. You notice he's wearing gloves too. That's smart. Clever kid. He makes it up the hill, and then that's where we see our cover page. Without all the cover markings, which is nice. Here, he meets a little girl who honestly is a little bit stereotypical. She's super confrontational, super bossy, super bitchy. I mean, it's kind of a typical role for little girls, but at the same time, a lot of little girls are pretty bossy. Some stuff happens. William, the protagonist, and his new friend are kind of forced to stay together as they're trying to avoid this new conflict that has arisen. We start to find out, or at least it's suggested, that humanity really isn't where it once was, you could say. This building in this city, the kid is warned away from going to, and they're actually basically being chased away from it. This leads us to believe that there's some sort of big threat there, or maybe some sort of controlling force. You'll kind of put more together as you actually see what's happening, especially when it's happening in front of you. And when William introduces himself to that little girl, she freaks out at his name and basically calls him an idiot, suggests that he doesn't know anything about and that he's messing with her. She then makes sure that he knows to never tell anybody his name is William. She won't tell him why. She just tells him to go by Jacob, which leads us, or which, brings a lot of questions to the table. Questions that aren't answered in #1, but they do a very good job making us want to read #2. So I do suggest this book. How much was it? I don't even remember. I didn't get very much this week. $3.99. I mean, honestly, that's pretty standard for a comic. But seeing as I've never heard of the guy, never heard of the company, it is very good. Very readable. It just depends on what kind of mood you're in. Anyway, if this looks like something that might interest you, then I would suggest getting it. If you're really not into this slightly more childish take on dark fantasy, then you probably don't want to read it. But if you got kids, it would be a good comic. Anyway, that's really about all I can think of to say without destroying all the little plot twists and everything inside. Sorry I can't show you a little bit more, but I just don't want to ruin anything. Alright, thanks for watching. Hail Hydra, baby.
Thank you.